speaking of dates,
She's really been good with the segues today. Amazing.
I'm actually really curious about your opinion on this because I'm not sure how you would feel.
She brought it to me. I'm like, I don't know how Anne's going to answer it.
So this is a column written in the LA Times. Not sure by who, because I'm not a good journalist.
Oh, or really at anything.
Didn't write the person's name down.
Not competent.
The question is, should men pay on dates as reparations for the gender wage gap? So this writer recently was getting...
You had her at the pay on the dates, but now you might be losing her.
I have a strong opinion.
Was recently getting pushbacks from some of her friends, arguing that because of the persisting gender pay gap, it's actually now properly feminist to expect men to pay on first dates and contribute more financially in relationships. Should I expect men to pay on dates as a form of reparations for generational harm? The problem with framing being taken out to dinner by a man as a form of reparations is that it's privately consumed, says Juliet Williams, a UCLA gender studies professor. It's not an accounting for injustice in any way that's visible or acknowledged. We have to be careful not to just label anything that's personally advantageous as somehow politically justified.
I love it.
However, women tend to spend more on date prep with makeup and manicures to meet female beauty standards. Some women believe men should cover the costs not only of dates, but transportation to and from. Interestingly, Gen Z women are more likely to believe in a 50-50 approach to dating than Gen Z men. To dating expenses. One study found that men ages 18 to 25 are more likely than older generations to feel guilty if they don't pay the bill, even though their female peers are less likely to mind contributing than older women. Okay, Anne, what do you make of all of this?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. It's like another thing the feminists have done. We used to have, obviously men should pay. They are going to be the providers. That is what we're looking for, a strong man who can defend us, protect us, take care of us. Of course men should pay. But like so many idiotic feminist ideas, they throw out, we used to have just like a few big rules. Men are the men. That's one of them. And men should be chivalrous as well and shouldn't be,
All right, now you're asking a lot.
But,
okay?
well, fair
the money
point,
or the chivalry?
You make up for it in charm and humor.
Questionable.
She was being sarcastic.
You're also not supposed to be treating women, I don't know, like sacks of meat or blow up dolls. I mean, there is the chivalry. I can't imagine, and I think it's probably the same for you guys, some of these stories of what happens, the sexual harassment. I mean, try to imagine your father behaving like that in the workplace. It would not have happened. Why? Because we had one or two simple rules. Men protect women. Women are nice to men. That's like our main responsibility. Be nice. Don't be a bitch. And then the feminists come along and say, no. We can be sluts. We can be whores. We're going to behave just like men. That's on the sexual harassment front. And no, we're splitting the bill. So it doesn't work, and feminists have to come up with this complicated workaround, which they did with sexual harassment rules. It's all feminists who are pushing sexual harassment rules that are insane, go way too far, when it just should have been be chivalrous. That was a simple rule. And now they have this other insane workaround. It's reparations.
Yeah.
But the picture you're painting here is, so what you're telling me is I can save some money, and I'm definitely getting laid. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a win-win. Yeah.
Now, I've seen
Representing what they
certain
used to be.
bars do happy hours or women drink free, and then they've cheekily, written on a sandwich board because women get paid less, or like that's the workaround so that it's not like
against the law.
Yeah,
because
like
feminists objected to that. They really made our lives so much better. All these bars used to have ladies' nights where girls drink.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because men want to be in a bar with a lot of ladies. Obviously, it was an economically viable solution, and feminists complained about it and got this wonderful benefit taken away from us.
It also makes me wonder, maybe way back in the day, even before the Greatest Generation, we were gayer. Because it was always just in bars. The only women in bars were the errant prostitute or perhaps a barmaid, but bars were singularly and only for men. And men seemed to like that. I couldn't stand a bar if there was all just dudes in there.
Oh, I can
just at
explain
least for the visuals.
I can explain that.
Yes, please.
I've asked, man, my father belonged to an all-men's club. I have no problem with all-men's clubs. I encourage them. What they say is exactly what I was saying. When they're around women, they have to be polite. They can't tell dirty jokes. They have to take the coat off. They have to move the seat in. And finally, they're around all men. They don't have to be like on guard, be chivalrous. They just get to sit back and burp and tell dirty jokes or whatever jokes. They don't have to worry about being polite.
Right. Yeah. Well, and God, there were a couple. Like, I feel like McSorley's didn't stop their no women ban until like '72 or something insane like that. It went on for a while. Erin, I think, almost is the same way. But yeah, it was a different time.
You know, when I first started dating, one of my first relationships was in college with an Italian boy.
I bet he was chivalrous.
Yes, whose parents were like, came over here. And so he was first generation and he.
Connected.
No, I don't know. That would have been so cool. But he would pay for everything. And I would, you know, say, I don't mind. He's like, no, I'm supposed to.
Yes.
And he would sort of take that lead, which then kind of screwed me over for the other relationships I had.
Yes.
Because I got really comfortable with not paying. Because the reality is, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you like free shit. We all like free shit. Think about it. You go to ballpark games and they're giving away free stuff. They're throwing T-shirts. You're jumping after a free T-shirt. You know, we just like free stuff. So, of course, I would rather the man pay. I get if I need to split it. But in general, I believe if the man asked you out and he picked the restaurant, then he should be the one to pay.
I would like to say men should not listen to anything Joanne just said.
They normally...
Because the reason I say that is it isn't to get free stuff. This is what very cynical, the equivalent of a male, whatever a manist would be.
A man.
The male equivalent of a feminist.
Sounds like an upscale manicure guy.
No, men who are very cynical about women. That is what they claim. That, oh, you're just getting a free meal. No, it is not that. You are trying out to be the provider. I mean, even if you're young, even if you're in college, I mean, if you meet the right person in college, that would be great. But you're trying out to be the protector and to be a provider. And I consider it very romantic, and I consider it kind of a deal breaker if they don't take care of you.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that it's coming around for the very much younger generation, but I guess it's just for reasons like that. Reparations.
I like hearing that the younger men feel guilty if they don't pay the bill.
Good, yeah.
Although I did see something too. You know, food costs are up like crazy.
Yes.
Even for fast food, I mean, Chipotle. Forget about the avocado. We can't afford it. But, you know, I think burritos are now like $18 or something ridiculous. So, or even a cup of coffee. I don't know if you have the Joanne graphic. This is when I sound like a grandma.
Picture her old, looking over some Harry Carey type
I decided
glasses.
to treat myself to a latte at Starbucks. I never do. I make my own coffee at home.
Good for you.
I didn't do any special milk. I got regular milk. I didn't do any modifications, and it was a small, and it was almost $7.
There you go, Ann.
It was $7.
This is what you're looking at right here.
So
Or listening to.
even young people, teenagers going on a date, $7 for one. If you're paying for two that's a lot of money.
I don't think they date anymore, though. I think
That's the issue.
Yeah.
They should. It's
Yeah, it's fun.
yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I'm all for paying.
And by the way, it is true, something that article mentioned. This was always my argument to men who were cynical and said, oh, you're just trying to get a free meal. Oh, no, our date prep starts at like age 19.
That's fair.
It is
fair.
Our shoes alone, our haircuts, our dry cleaning. It is so much more expensive.
Yeah.
You guys just bathe.
You know, for me, the back brace to get a straight spine. It was a lot of work.
Were you...